At this time, I would like to invite our state representative, Jeffrey Roy, up to give a keynote speech.
Good morning, everyone. The events of September 11th, 2001 forever marked and changed us. For me, it's what led to a career of public service and what thrust me into the 12 elections for local and state office that I've held since 2001. A few years ago, I visited the 9/11 Memorial and Museum in New York City. It's the place that remembers and honors the 2,983 people killed in the horrific attacks of September 11th, 2001 and February 26th of 1993. It's a site that recognizes the endurance of those who survived, the courage of those who risked their lives to save others, and the compassion of all who supported us in our darkest hours. And while there, I looked up at the beacon light shining 1,776 feet high at the top of the Freedom Tower. It's a beautiful sight and a beacon of freedom that shines brightly. That beacon was designed and constructed by an engineer and a company from Franklin, Massachusetts, Carpe Diem on Saxon Street. That company took on the challenge of creating the brightest LED beacon in the world, which sits atop the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere. It's a beacon that intones the sentiments reflected in Matthew 5:16. Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works. It's a beacon that warns, a beacon that offers encouragement, and a beacon that provides guidance. It lights up the darkness, and it calls us together. Indeed, that beacon calls us together today as we remember that September day in 2001 and how much it has impacted us for the last 21 years. But it also reminds us how the worst terrorist attack in American history brought out the best in the American people, how Americans lined up to give blood, how volunteers drove across the country to lend a hand, how school children donated their savings, how communities, faith groups, and businesses collected food and clothing. Indeed, we were united, and the outpouring of generosity and compassion reminds us that in times of challenge, we Americans move forward together as one people. On this 21st anniversary, we face great challenges as a nation. We're emerging from a pandemic. We are divided in our homes, in our communities, and as a nation. And we are grappling with misinformation that threatens the very foundations of our democracy. But despite all these obstacles, we must remember that we are Americans at heart. And while you may not feel it at times, you live in the greatest nation on earth. The division and misinformation are reflections of the fact that we have lost sight of the virtue of working together. They result from greed, from leaders who look us in the eye and lie, and from terrorists, both foreign and domestic, who think nothing of the lives and families that they destroy. Indeed, they are some signs that people have given up hope. But that's not what Americans do. Indeed, true patriots look out for one another. They pull together as families, as a community, as a commonwealth, and as a nation. It's important to remember that in an interdependent world, we all need to work together. Now, I used to coach youth sports here in Franklin, and I remember one team in particular. That team had girls of all levels of talent, some very good athletes and some not so good. Some big girls, some small girls, some meek, some loud. And I wondered how this group would come together. And we assembled one day for practice, and I asked the girls to go out into the woods and grab 2 sticks each, and then come back and sit around in a circle. And they returned with sticks of many shapes and sizes. I asked them each to pick up the first stick they had and to break it. And no one had any trouble snapping that stick. I then had them bring up the second stick up to me so that I could gather them together in a bundle. There I was, standing with 15 sticks of all sizes joined together as one. I gave all the girls an opportunity to break that bundle of sticks wrapped together, and not one of them could do it. And I reminded them that that is how a team works. You come together in all shapes and sizes, and if you stick together, you will succeed. And that group of girls went on to have a great season. They all showed up for the games and practices, and they looked out for one another. They truly cared about each other and achieved success because they were a true team. And that's what we citizens of Franklin, as citizens of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and as citizens of these United States must do. Let's come together once again for the good of our family, community, and country. Let's heed the words of John F. Kennedy from his City on a Hill speech delivered on January 9, 1961. He noted that Massachusetts leaders have shaped our destiny long before the great republic was born. Its principles have guided our footsteps in times of crisis as well as in times of calm. Its democratic institutions have served as beacon lights for other nations as well as our sister states. As we mark this solemn anniversary, let's summon that spirit of unity once more. Let's be the beacons of light that spread our sense of common purpose. Let's reaffirm our character as a nation, bound by a creed as old as our founding, E pluribus unum. Out of many, we are one. This is us, and that's the America that we must bend towards in that arc of moral justice. I look forward to that journey of peace, love, and understanding with all of you once again. Thank you so much for being here today as we embark on that journey together.